Hello, logical people of the 21st century. Let's get straight to an argument which is always put to people by the religious, which people really struggle to answer. And though these are my personal insights, I feel confident enough to say that it's pretty basic knowledge. The creationists' ideology can be summarised by Hoyle's The Ultimate Boeing 747 Theory, where he states a storm in a scrapyard would not create the 747 out of scratch because it's too improbable. There was a divine creator. There was too much logic to its assimilation. The teaching that all living things, intelligent things, beautiful and wonderful things must have had a creator for them to come about, because it's far too much of a coincidence for how wonderful and perfect they have come about and work. So let's do atheists and religious people a favour and tear this apart with ease. Without going too far into the evolution subject, it's pretty safe to say that the answer which plagues religious people is why there's so much bad, why there's so much sinister evil, which is usually given words of it's to test us, or he works in mysterious ways, which is very coincidental. And to further puzzle things, the awful weather, the diseases, homicide, genocide, the destruction of free will via selfish means seem to have very little in which to offer us as far as kindness goes. So let's steer clear of the obvious evolution, even if I accidentally slip it in, and theorise, because that's what theologians like to do. Now, I certainly don't believe it, but if you were to say there was a creator, you have to say that he's made vast mistakes. He made them throughout evolution and he's making them now. So as ridiculous as it sounds, it's more plausible to listen to someone that says an alien sent a seed to Earth and has made mistakes, to say that someone doesn't care, that they're watching. If you say someone cares and loves us, then it doesn't explain why everything's wrong. If you were to say someone is running an experiment, it would explain why there's been so many mistakes, why we are so intelligent. I personally wouldn't go for the idea in general, but if that had been pitched to me instead of God, it would have made far more sense. Because all of a sudden, it would have made sense why all these processes which they may not have been through before are running into error. And they may do this with many planets, and the last thing they're going to do is either interfere or help, because they don't give a toss about who's suffering. It might be a game or scientific experiment for them. Though it sounds fictional, it sounds a lot more plausible than the science fiction in which is taught in schools and today, and which causes 82% estimated of the world population to believe in absolute horsetail. You seem to summarise on a particular story which couldn't even fathom the amount of millions of other tales and possibilities in which it could happen. You're better off theorising than sticking with something stupid. Or why not stick to something we like to know as science, the thing in which powers your cars and phones? We're expected to believe that the Creator had no creator, because what could there have been before God? Many possibilities strike me, such as maybe our time is going in reverse. Maybe it's a timeline that gets to a point and reverses and it's never ended. What about the possibility of infinity, that time truly is infinite, a number in which we cannot get our heads round as humans? The thing with infinite is, no matter how many times you tell yourself there's an end, when you think deeper, there is no end. And an infinite timeline, or a repeating cycle, would make more sense than an omnipotent perfect being, hypocritically creating us in our image, in his image, than expecting us to believe no one made him, and to willingly love him, despite the poor distribution of free will and kindness. If he is real, the God of Islam or the God of the Old Testament are the ones in which we have to thank, because the nastiness of the real world far outdoes any fiction. And if I was setting up a world for those in which I love, it wouldn't be familiar with the one in which we know. Give the 99.8% of all species on Earth to be extinct the credit of existence, and the evolutionary process in which has developed you, your brain, and the world in which we know today. Love people in the world because it's right, not because you're told to. This is Mr. Heretic at Revelation Be Damned. Think for yourself.